Good morning, welcome to day 99 of my Munros challenge. So today walking routes number 82 and number 83. After a lot of to do, I've got to Carn station, 3 Munros. I've got 12 hours before my return train, so plenty of time. We've got Beinn which is the dappled hill, Sgor Gaibhre, which is the God's Peak, and Carn Dearg, which is the red rocky hill. So I do believe this station was famous for a scene with Ewan McGregor on Train Spotting.
Now what? We'll go for a walk. What? A walk! Where? There! Are you serious?
So here we are, Carn. Very murky, muggy day. We're heading this way, up into the gloom, and let's see how we get on, shall we? So we're leaving the station. We're going to follow this track towards the youth hostel, and I'm going to hang a left and head up into the gloom. Hopefully it'll clear. I can't really show you a great deal because there's low cloud everywhere. So the plan is to walk to the lock, hang a left, just skirt that wood and head straight up the side to the shoulder and the ridge line, and then follow the ridge line to the summit for the first Munro. And then after that I'm making it up a little bit to try and get round the other side of the lock, because guidebooks don't show it as 2 separate walks, so I'm going to make it up pretty much as I go along. Wow, so that's Loch of Seine. That'll be the track I'm coming back on, and this is the track I'm taking now. So I've hung a left and I can see what looks like a Land Rover track or quad bike going straight up the side. So I'm going to take that one, I believe, and head up to the ridge line shoulder. So this is where I leave the Land Rover tracks. Like I say, we head straight up to the shoulder. Just looking back before I get into this cloud, whilst I got a view, there's a station over there in the gloom. Heading up this squelchy path up towards the grass shoulder. To say there's not a great deal to see. I'm now up on the grass ridge shoulder, heading up towards the summit. I think I've got maybe 200 metres or so of ascent to the top. It's quite a defined path so far, so despite the bad visibility it's easy to keep on track. So there's a stone shelter here, but we're about 900 metres, so it's not the top. The top's further ahead, so we're going to keep going, probably another 30 or 40 metres of ascent, I think. So here we are, Beinn. Dreadful day. Started to rain now, that's all we need. So the plan is to stick on the ridge and maybe walk a kilometre, 2 kilometres or so, drop 100-150 metres, and then hang a right and pick up. Well, it'll be pathless, and I'm going to drop down to the edge of the forest and skirt round to pick up a track at the end of the lock. So that's the plan. It looks okay on a map. Whether I can do it in reality, we will see. So I've followed the ridge for a while, and I've come to this natural dip, if you like, and I'm looking for somewhere to turn right. It's a bit earlier than I was anticipating, but it looks like this could be a natural way down. So I'm gonna risk it and take it and see where I end up. Now, change of plan. It's very, very, very steep, far too steep to risk. So I'm going to continue along the ridge for a bit longer. Have to climb back up. So I found this grassy spur, if you like, coming off the side of the hill. Not too bad a gradient, so I'm going for it. I'm going to hang a right and let's see where we end up. So I just dropped off the hill and it wasn't too bad at all really. It's levelled off now, and I'm heading in a southeasterly direction, and I'm going to stick on this bearing really, and it should bring me out where I want to be. So after a serious amount of bog hopping, I've come down to almost the tree line. Now we've got to get to the end of the trees to get round them, and the lock's just hidden in the background. So I've landed a little bit too far right, but never mind. I'll head round the trees and get round the lock before we pick up the track up the other side. Yes, so we skirted along the wood. We're just following this fence down to a track which will take us over there across a bridge and round the other side of the lock. Then we'll start the ascent on row number 2. So we're at this crossroads, 5 miles back to the station that way. We're heading over this way. So we're at the end of the lock. Wow, very low cloud. So we're going to head up through this wood, follow the track which will follow the burn up to a dam, after which point I believe I'm going to be pathless again, aiming for the summit. A long climb as well. Yeah, so I'm just leaving the estate and following this track now through the woods to a dam. So we're at the dam, and I need to cross this burn, cross it a bit higher up, and then we're heading straight up there. There's a fair bit to go, probably 450 metres pathless. So the plan is to head up here to try and find my way up to the spot height shown on the map at 850 metres, and then I'm going to try and traverse across to the Beillach before making an ascent to the summit. So that's kind of roughly the plan. Looking back across at the reservoir, the first Munro in the cloud. I'm following this grassy, it's like an underground burn. It's just me a bit careful with my feet, but it's making progress quite quick. So I'm climbing quite nicely. So I'm on the tops where the spot height 815 is. So now I'm going to turn slightly right, and I'm going to contour around and try and keep my height to get to the next Beillach. So I've traversed round to the Beillach below Sgor Gaibhre, and I'm going to start the ascent. It looks quite a grassy path. That was quite a little climb. Here we are, Sgor Gaibhre, God's Peak. Wow. So we're on a path for a change, so we'll follow the path down to the next Beillach. So since the last Beillach we've been on quite a well-defined path. Now I'm expecting to stay on this path all the way up to the summit of the next Munro. It's quite a wide Beillach, it's very boggy down at the bottom now, and we're still following this path. So we're going to start the ascent of the last Munro. Well, so far this one has been very, very steady, very nice gradient, not rocky at all, nice and grassy, makes a pleasant change. I don't think I'm too far from the summit, hard to say. So here we are, Carn Dearg. Fabulous views. It actually got quite rocky towards the top, so that's a mighty cairn, isn't it? Right, I'm going to get straight off because it's no fun up here. So I'm following this path, quite well worn path off the top. So they're making navigation quite easy at the minute. So we're pathless at the minute, but there's a Land Rover track ahead. So I'm just making a beeline for that. Then I'll hang a right, and I think it's on tracks then all the way back. I'm not sure the significance of these rocks, but they're known as Peter's Rock. We're going to follow the track round down to the lock now, and then back to the station. Hi, welcome to day 99 of my Munro challenge. So today I walked routes number 82 and 83. It's Thursday the 16th of June, and I started the walk from the famous Carn station. Bit of a palaver really, because with the various new timetables or temporary timetables in the trains, it's become impossible to get a train from Fort William and back on the same day and do the walk. So I had a bit of logistics to think about, and in the end I got a night train, early morning sleeper from the Bridge of Orchy, and I also booked on the 10 to 9 at night return train to the Bridge of Orchy, so as I could get back to a car. But that's that's a long story. I'll come on to that possibly. What a fabulous start. It makes me want to watch Train Spotting all over again. Yeah, so you leave the station, you follow Land Rover tracks, and you head up towards the hostel, where you hang a left, and you can see a track heading up the side of Beinn very steady gradient. You're making out quite quickly. It's a bit of a boggy path, but it's a good path, and it pretty much takes you all the way to the top. It's quite fast actually, surprisingly fast. I'm surprised actually that the guidebooks suggest you do that as one on its own, although I get it that it is remote. It is a relatively quick hill to climb up and down. Having said that, I decided to obviously go to climb the other two Munros. Now I'm in thick fog, cloud, so I found the navigation was difficult. I decided to follow the ridge and drop off the ridge and make my way down to the forest, which you couldn't see. Now I did probably leave the ridge too early. I did leave the ridge too early, and indeed when you're bog hopping, as I was, 'cause it's quite boggy and it's very difficult to keep a straight line. So I ended up far to right, if you like, on the forest. And in hindsight, I'd have probably stuck on the ridge a good half a kilometre, even a kilometre further before I hung a right. But you know, it's easy to say when you can't see. You just got to make judgments. But you're never going to go wrong, because as soon as you get to the forest, you just follow it round. Yeah, so you follow the forest round and you drop down to the various paths running round the end of the lock and the lodges. I then took a track up to a dam on my ascent of Sgor Gaibhre. Once you get to the dam, it's pathless again. So which is great really, all these pathless walks on a non-viz day. So I found a grass scar with like an underground burn, which took me an awful long way up, and I was trying to make my way up to a spot height, 815 metres shown on the map, which is like a mini Belak, which I got to, and then traversed round, because I didn't really want to needlessly climb a hill that I didn't have to. And as you traverse round, you actually come to the Belak at the bottom of Carn Dearg, and you meet a path. It's like the first path you've seen since you started the day. It's a good path, very visible. It makes its height quite quickly, and becomes quite sandy actually in places. And you make your way all the way to the top of Sgor Gaibhre, called God's Peak, I believe it is. I can only imagine what it looked like, because it seemed to be quite a small summit, so I would imagine it's quite a shapely mountain. Yeah, anyway, you follow the path back down quite a long way to the next Bealach, and then start making your ascent of Carn Dearg. Now it's very, very easy gradient and very grassy for quite some time. Bear in mind, I couldn't see, and you keep thinking, oh, it must be around the corner, but it is quite a long way. And eventually the path does steepen ever so slightly and become rocky, but nothing too difficult at all. Massive cairn on Carn Dearg. So I found a very faint path in the direction I needed to be. Bear in mind, I've got no visibility. The path soon became pathless again, but it's similar to the previous pathless descent, whereby you're never really going to go wrong. Now the other one, you was always going to come to a forest. Well, this one, you're always going to come to a Land Rover track, at which point you turn right and you follow it back to the station. Indeed, that's what I did. I possibly hit the track a little bit further left than I'd anticipated, but not a problem. Great day. Actually, all three are very, very doable. I mean, it took me 9 hours to do the 3 in poor visibility, and I'm sure I could have possibly done it faster if I'd been able to see where I was going. It's 18 miles, and there is 4,406 feet of ascent.
Sgor